Right now, exclusively, is Congressman John Radcliff, Republican from Texas. He sits on the House Intel as well as Judiciary Committees. He is also a former prosecutor himself. Congressman, it is always a pleasure to see you. Thanks for being here.
You bet. Good morning, Maria.
So you were in that meeting last week where Adam Schiff brought up the issue of Russia meddling. Can you tell us what happened? Can you tell us anything about this new information?
Well, think about it, Maria. You're asking me about details of a classified briefing that was intended to remain secret.
Right.
You're asking me about it because it's been reported on by the New York Times, and you know, that's all too familiar. We see when there's a story about that is allegedly anti-Trump or negative for the president, it shows up in newspapers because either Democratic members or Democratic staffers leak it. The problem is, in this case, they've leaked information that's not accurate. Look, let me be real clear, because the narrative often from Democrats and the media is that Republicans don't think that the Russians have meddled in our election. They did. They meddled in 2016. They're going to meddle in 2020. That's not the issue. The issue is why Russia is being so successful in shaking American confidence in the integrity of our elections. And the reason is it's because Democrats keep perpetuating and accentuating and proliferating Russian propaganda for their political gain and for their political motivation against Donald Trump. It's Democrats that created the Steele dossier and peddled it to our law enforcement and intelligence communities. They did that so the Democrats could falsely accuse the president of conspiring with Russia for the better part of 3 years now, something that Bob Mueller said absolutely wasn't the case. It was the Democrats that put out a memo saying that everything had been done appropriately at the FISA court and that there wasn't illegal surveillance. All of these things have been done by Democrats to really, for their political gain, but has promoted everything that Russia has tried to accomplish, and the Democrats have been their biggest allies.
And at the same time, Adam Schiff continues peddling this story, and you and Trey Gowdy were the only two Republicans to see the unredacted information around the FISA warrants, and on the Democratic side, it was Adam Schiff. The three of you saw the same exact information. You came out of that, you came on my show, and you raised red flags about the process, raised red flags about what was going on. Adam Schiff went on the media and said, there's collusion in plain sight. All at the same time, as we look at our timeline here, at the same time, there were all of these informants being thrown at Trump campaign figures, like George Papadopoulos being invited by Arvinder Sambai to Rome, where he's introduced to Joseph Mifsud, who dropped a bomb on him saying, oh yeah, Russia has emails of Hillary Clinton, followed by Mifsud telling Papadopoulos that in April of 16. All of this I'm pointing at is way before the FBI's statement that this investigation into Trump collusion started in July of 16. So the question becomes, what is all of this activity before July of 16?
Yeah, well, as you point out, Maria, I mean, Adam Schiff has been among the worst offenders here, falsely accusing the president of conspiring with Russia. Adam Schiff is the one that authored the FISA rebuttal memo saying that everything had been done appropriately when, as you correctly point out, he saw the same information that Trey Gowdy and I saw. He saw that there was exculpatory information. He saw that the Steele dossier was central and essential to those FISA applications. And he went out and told the American people the opposite. And now he's at it again by putting out, through his committee, information that is false. Look, I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here, but I don't know anyone in the last 3 years who has done more to help Vladimir Putin and Russia with their efforts to sow the seeds of discord in American elections and American election security than Adam Schiff has. And, you know, as you say, there's a lot at stake here, and there's a lot being looked at with regard to what happened before what we've been told over and over again, the Trump-Russia investigation beginning in July of 2016, when there's very clearly evidence of activity before that that involves law enforcement and intelligence community assets.
Right.
And those are things that I think that John Durham and Bill Barr's Department of Justice are looking at right now.
Look, I know that you've got in the Judiciary Committee, you've got this markup of the FISA reauthorization, and there are 3 sections that you'll be marking up. Section 215, business. The second one is roving wiretap provision, and then the third provision is this lone wolf provision. We already know that 2 out of the 4 wiretaps into Carter Page were illegal. Do you think all 4 were illegal?
I do, and the reason, John Durham, on the day that Inspector General came out with his report, indicated that, he didn't think that there was proper predication, or may not have been proper predication, to begin with the very first one. We know for a fact, as you correctly point out, that even the FBI director admitted to me last week that at least 2 of the 4 were illegal surveillance. I don't think there was a proper predicate to do any of this. I don't think any of this was appropriate, and I think that's what John Durham is looking at specifically. The challenge with these provisions that you talked about is, we have important U.S. surveillance laws that are coming up for reauthorization, but it's against this backdrop of the American people seeing that there was illegal surveillance against Carter Page, a Trump campaign associate. And our Democratic colleagues are working against us because they don't want to talk about that, because it was a Democratic administration and Democratic politicians like Adam Schiff who are complicit with respect to that allowing to occur. Yeah, really unbelievable. Congressman, it's great to see you. Thanks so much. You bet. Thanks, Congressman John Radcliffe. We'll be right back live with Candace Owens. Fox News projecting Bernie Sanders as the winner of